Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're back for the second hour of this, the fifth session of, or I guess fifth issue of Defenders of Halcyon, our Masks and New Generation campaign. So, we just finished seeing you guys, like we got reintroduced to your characters. We saw what you did in the span of time between last issue and this issue. And before we do anything else, let's see what the lay of the land is for our two, our Legacy and our Janus, respectively. Because time has passed, and you need to make moves, gentlemen.
Move it.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, you do.
We like to move it, move it.
Let's start with the Legacy. When time passes, you have to. When time passes, you have to roll plus your savior to see how members of your Legacy feel or react to your most recent exploits. Now, we already know some of this. We know that, generally speaking, people are impressed with you. We also know that you have been showered with extra responsibility and pressure. But there might be something more that happens. So, let's make the roll, see what happens.
Savior. Oh yeah, but I first have to access the questions.
Yeah.
And I will take -1 for no on
Yep, that's true.
one of the.
So let's ask the poignant questions here. The primary question is: have you been upholding the traditions of your legacy? I feel like that's a solid no, but I don't.
I think yes. I was fighting a good fight against the dimensional horror. I defeated the traitor of the order, and I protected the sacred spot.
All of these are definitely like things that your order does. The reason I'm thinking maybe you didn't, I am convinced that we could let this go for a yes. The reason I'm thinking maybe you didn't is because, as far as I've been able to tell, it's a running theme for your character that you are like the fact that you exist and operate as you do runs contrary to the modus operandi of the vigil. Is that correct?
Yeah. That also is correct. So yeah, I'm completely fine with no on this question.
I will leave this to you because you did bring up a very good point. So
yeah, I'm fine with the no one.
All right.
So that will be -1.
Right.
Have you maintained the image of your legacy?
Yeah,
that I think that's the question for the public mostly, because
I feel you have. Though many people think of the vigil as being like the kind of like the super group they're a bit ambivalent about, right? They are not really sure like about them. They are still like recognizably not villains. And you having been pushed to excel recently has definitely maintained the image of your legacy, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Okay,
been
so
positive
that's
perception.
so there is nothing for that question. And the third one is: have you made the other members of your legacy proud? I think my recent efforts kind of, I would say yes, even those undecided.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Kind of like,
No doubt.
they were like, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
This time we'll let you fly.
Though there was obviously like a hearing about the, well, air quotes, destruction of the lake chamber. And
Didn't we purify it?
you purified the lake.
Chamber was ruined.
Yeah, pretty much. And the destruction of
But-
like your.
But Arthur's statue was still standing and
It was
impeccable.
indeed. But yeah, so
Well,
there was.
maybe they should hold on to the fucking villains some better.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You should tell them that.
Yeah, totally.
So
Send them very angry letter.
Though there was absolutely like a hearing about these things, and though someone is definitely talking about like being too rough around the edges and whatnot, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind. This is a loud, capitalized exclamation point. Yes, you have made other members of your legacy proud.
Cough, cough, Elder Kimball, cough.
Yes, even he was surprised more than proud. In fact, just the sheer surprise of everyone
He
that you guys took out Soren the Shamed was like if you would have had like a solid 5 days where you couldn't like look at anyone without reminding them to shut their mouth.
I imagine perhaps also just the sheer power Finn showed would be quite impressive.
But they would see it only like on like arcane or medieval version of CCTV.
Yep.
Okay, so that's only a -1 roll. So a roll situational bonus minus, not -7, -1. Submit.
Yeah, look at
It's a
that.
hit.
That's a hit.
Hey.
Yay! Okay, so 7 to 9 is on 7 to 9. Well, on a hit, one of them offers you a meaningful encouragement, an opportunity, or an advantage. And on 7 to 9, another is upset with your most recent actions and will make their displeasure known.
Yeah.
I can kind of figure a couple of people that would.
This is definitely the juxtaposition between your mother and the elder. This is your mother is absolutely like they offer you meaningful encouragement. They tell you did good. They spur you on to like keep doing what you do. Stick to your guns. Keep being better. Keep being like the savior of the people. Bring vigil out there in the hearts and the minds of the people that you have too long abandoned.
And I imagine Kimball being like, "Don't get cocky, kid. Don't get cocky."
The juxtaposition to that, the contrary point is the aforementioned hearing, right, where like you would have been brought before like a tribunal, and Kimball would have been like explain yourself with the destruction of our property, and like the security systems were fried, and like all of these things, like couldn't you do better? Like this has hurt us. Like this is doing damage to our base, our lives, blah blah blah, and just like laying into you and basically,
Bitch, please.
yeah, basically not like although he is obviously impressed with what you managed to accomplish, he is not one for like letting any disciplinary action just fly for any reason. So he's like,
Indeed.
yeah.
I imagine the Soren did that. Comes up quite often.
Yeah, like conveniently the CCTV material of Soren destroying anything was conveniently missing. It's just images of me.
Yeah, essentially, right? We can speculate based on like what we see on camera, but like none of that is just like you guys like pass past the screen, like past the frame of the screen, and then something is broken, and then you get thrown into a wall, and something is broken. Like it's just horrible. And the Rasmus has a good point. Like you find yourself being often compared to like and being reminded of like traits exhibited by the betrayer. And being like, don't you get overly confident, because if you start thinking yourself above the traditions, then you will you will find yourself guilty of crimes against your order, just like Soren, who you have put away. Like that comparison comes up way too often. Often enough that you maybe like that we have in the animated version we would hear like. Overlap between the Elder's voice and Soren's voice from last episode, where he was like offering you to join him and to like ditch these like old dusty fartbags with their draconic ways and like start actually doing something. Like there would be a little voice booth trick there, just to like drive home that point. But cool. So that's a thing that happened. Yep. And the next one was our Janus?
That's me.
Yeah. So why don't you make us a roll of plus mundane to see how you manage your obligations?
Alrighty. Not bad.
Okay. So, let's see. On a hit, things are going pretty well. You have an opportunity or advantage thanks to one of your obligations. On a 7 to 9, you've lapsed on one of your obligations. Your choice.
Uh-oh.
What have you lapsed on?
Well, you've already neglected one friend.
Yeah, I was about to say, Daniel Thornton, my best friend.
Oh.
I've been spending way too much time with Ileana, and not enough with him.
He jelly now.
Very good.
That's right.
Where do we find you? There you are.
So basically, he's dumping all his friends because he got Sparrow.
I'm guessing it's a case of I didn't think of it.
Yeah.
Maybe because he thought with the opposite end of his body.
you rock
His
through
heart
life.
was his heart.
You rock through your life with the oblivious hurtfulness of a teenager.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. All right. So those are things we know happens. Anything else we should clear up before we jump headlong into things?
I forgot to mention that Nightshade probably needs to buy a new sword or new equipment because Saren pretty much almost cut his in two last time we played.
That's true. So
Yeah.
I have a question for you then. Is this a case of, as time has passed, you just have a new one? Like,
No,
you just
I-
accept that?
If you can,
Yeah,
if you
that's
can
fine.
say, if you really want something, I think for your contributions, maybe the Vigil or at least some members of it would offer you a replacement
Oh.
Yeah.
thing.
Thingy
Definitely.
thing a thing.
Just an idea.
I would be perfectly okay with that. All of these things
Yeah.
are options.
I would be okay with taking a replacement from the Vigil.
It might look a little bit more, maybe European to
That's fine.
to what you're used to, but it will be maybe a
A plus
Maybe-
one
ma-
sword.
maybe maybe semi-energetic.
My +5 Vorpal sword.
Yeah, a little bit.
Basically, their way of saying thank you for help stopping the bastard who were about to rip us apart.
Now GTFO.
So you don't say that we were ungrateful.
Cool. All right. So that's a thing. Is there any anything special about this weapon? I feel like there's not, but I don't know.
It might be just it might be visual. It doesn't give him any other probably new powers, but it might
Just
be
looks fancy.
It just
might be just,
maybe it
plus
has
one.
maybe it has a visual properties of some previous version of visual weapons, so it's slightly kind of like a Vorpal sword. It's slightly energy based.
Yeah. Okay.
It
So
look-
there's like a
Definitely looks like a his sword, but like 2.0.
So whenever it's like drawn, like the sword is drawn, it's like the old movie posters of like whatever the barbarian and so the slayer, where they're holding up their weapon and there's like a lens flare in the background. So there's this
Indeed.
corona. Of
He
light.
has the power.
So there's like maybe when we see that weapon like in the future in these comics, it's drawn with like that little like non-offensive corona around it.
The anti-getting cut in half field.
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
All right. So we come in on Halcyon City. It's a busy day. People are moving to and fro. It's sunny out. We come down on the middle of a street. We see traffic passing by, and parked on the sidewalk is a military jeep. And we see inside like just a bunch of a pair of soldier looking types, like wearing like the green uniforms of their profession, holding some kind of piece of technology that looks like disproportionately advanced considering the vehicle they're sitting in. And they're like looking at some readings on it, and one of them is saying to the other like, so what exactly does any of this mean? Like, just shut up, okay? Something is happening. Like, these things mean something. Yeah, but like, if she's gonna jump on top of us, that thing is not gonna help you. look, whatever. Weapon D is somewhere out here. And we're going to find it. We're going to take it. And we're going to bring it in. Yeah, but didn't it like stomp on a tank? Yes. So, what are you and I gonna do about it? Look, that's not the point. that conversation happens, and as the conversation happens, we see like very obviously drawn so as to draw our eye. Walking past, like on the sidewalk, is some like it's a girl with her hair like black hair stylized to be like it's like a little over shoulder length. It's like set like very nicely in a like punk gothic ish style. Not like mohawk, but like a bit of like spiky back sweep. Wearing a dark gray robe coat and heel boots. Walking along the sidewalk so as to draw attention to this person. And we see a picture of like the front picture of the Jeep looking in through the windshield, and then on the side of the picture we see this person walking down on the sidewalk. And further in the background we see like a motorcade of black SUVs like round a corner as like basically do a turn in the like in the intersection on this grid. And the people are still talking in the car. They're like, look, whatever you need to know, just know this. Of course, when we see Weapon D, we call for backup. Now, keep in mind, she is wild, she's vicious, she's out of control, and she's an absolute danger. She could be anywhere doing anything. So just, whatever you do, never drop your guard. And we flip the page, and the first picture on the next page is a close-up of someone burping loudly.
Oh my god, this comic book has sound effects. Wow.
There's a button you can press in the back of your comic book that just goes.
The cow goes.
It's like one of those cards where you open it and it plays music, except this one, when you flip the page, it goes burp.
Like the game of Exploding Kitten, where you open the game, Daniel, we saw, and it goes meow!
Yes.
I would just want to say from the bottom of my heart, goodbye to our last viewer.
Ladies and gentlemen of the viewing audience, this is a service announcement. We don't give a damn.
This is a service announcement. Thank you for sticking with us so far.
We'll give her a burping salute.
Yes!
Yeah.
The 21 burp salute punctuated by one person vomiting on accident.
Oh, God. All right. Well,
All right. So
she is, yes. The reason, of course, why she is burping is that she is sitting on a dumpster with the mother of all New York-style hot dogs, including with sauerkrauts and cheap mustard and a soggy sausage, and she is and she has a look of absolute pure bliss on her face.
Cool. So we see you sitting there. Are you alone? Are you talking to someone?
A raccoon,
No,
maybe.
You're talking to like a local vagrant.
Actually,
Or a rat.
I think she's sitting there. I think she's sitting there on her own. And or at least it looks like she's sitting there on her own. And but she's still talking to someone or something. It may be someone or something only in her own mind, for all we know. But she is saying, yes, I bought two, because, she's supposed to be here in a moment, because, I told her about hot dogs. She is, of course, referring to Starlight.
Yeah. So Starlight, do you arrive as agreed on? Obviously.
Sure.
Cool. So I want to punctuate, like, this is early morning. This is pre, like, this is before you're supposed to attend school.
This is preschool.
This is before you're supposed to attend school. In like just 40 minutes.
Yes.
So basically, she gets a very grumpy Starlight, is what she's getting.
Yes.
But like apparently Diamond has like just sworn by the merits of eating a big old like disgusting hot dog for breakfast.
Yes. Exactly. In fact, this is not just this hot dog is not just it's not sizable. It's not that it's greasy. This is obscene. This hot dog is a walking reality violation, or it would be if it had legs.
You make it sound really disgusting.
It's like across the streets from like Anthony's Pork Wheelhouse.
Yes.
Tasty.
A hot dog stand
it's-
operated by the guy from Oliver and Company.
Yes, and it is literally so you can see how the grease is dripping down over her fingers, and she has got little twinkles in her eyes because none.
So she gets a very, very grumpy Starlight showing up, looking at her with disgust on her face, going, how can you eat that?
You see, I bought one for you too.
Oh, you can't be serious.
Of course I'm serious. I'm always serious, except when I'm not. And then I'm also serious. I'm serious about not being serious. Are you tired? You look
No, she's afraid, angry, and guilty.
Hey! Wake up and eat the hot dog. It'll do you good.
So you woke me up at 5 a.m.
No, I didn't wake you up for the hot dog. The hot dog is a bonus.
All right,
I woke you up for something a lot more fun.
What?
Well, we have to do this before anybody else comes into work, you know, or into school.
What are you plotting?
Well, you know, Mrs. DeMarco, who teaches English literature in I think it's the year beneath you, right? Below you.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a bitch. She's a real bitch.
I know.
Right. I have about 6,000 Post-its.
What?
Yeah, I've got about 6,000 Post-its. I don't know what to do with them, and she's got an office, and I have the key.
You want to post at her entire office?
Yeah,
Are you seriously serious about this?
of course.
What colors of Post-its? This is important.
Some are blue, and some are purple, and some are yellow. They're boring, and I think I even have some of the green ones. Maybe some red, or are they pink?
As long as we can spell out a word on her floor, then I'm okay.
That's fine. It's not a problem. Just pick one color and spell out the word.
So,
Yay!
We have about an hour and a half.
We're busy then.
I want you
Yeah,
to describe to me, like, as you're having this conversation, I want to know what your characters look like in the morning, just like wearing civilian clothing. You're heading to school, you're heading to your job, like, what are you dressed like?
I think, well, Diamond is wearing her usual boots, big, heavy, military-style boots, because, hey, you know, they're durable. Even when you have to do janitorial work, they're nicely durable. Mm-hmm. She's wearing a, one of those, what are they called? Coveralls, jumpsuit things.
Yep.
Shapeless sorts of things, but she doesn't really like wearing them, so she's tied the upper part around her waist. She's wearing a white tank top, which makes it clear and obvious that on her left shoulder, on the shoulder muscle, there's a barcode tattooed.
Awesome.
And
also that she's probably quite fit, I imagine. You can
she is incredibly fit. She's again, this really illustrates that she's not overly curvaceous in any sense of the word. She's not to find a point on it, she's probably quite flat-chested because she's got very, very well-developed musculature.
Right. So would you say she is not just fit? She is ripped.
She's ripped. She's definitely ripped.
So it's like
she
the gymnast that's actually around 25, and
thereabouts, yeah,
you can't
yeah.
see that it's actually females because even though they're wearing feminine clothing, they don't have any curves.
Not perhaps not quite to that extreme, but it's close. It's pretty close in her case. She's quite androgynous in that sense.
Right.
Other than that, she's wearing a baseball cap with Halcyon High on it, and she's wearing it in reverse because why not?
Because you can.
Because she can.
What's the name of Halcyon High's basketball team?
Idiots. Go idiots!
Platypi.
Platypi.
The love trees
Sure,
of
sure.
Halcyon High.
Yeah,
So it reads like "Go Platypi" like on the
yeah,
side.
yeah, exactly, something like that. And in her belt is stuck it's a tool belt, obviously. So she's carrying a number of different everyday tools, screwdrivers, wrenches, a couple of hammers, that sort of thing. There's also a little attachment that she's clearly made herself, which fits a pack of cigarettes.
Cool. And what about Starlight? What are you dressed for, like when you move to Halcyon High? This is also a thing that we've not discussed about Halcyon High, and my knowledge of American high schools is to blame here. Like, does Halcyon High have uniforms?
No.
I imagine it doesn't, because we have not been going into that.
No, American schools, having attended high school in the U.S. For a short while, American high schools don't, generally speaking, use school uniforms unless they're private schools.
All right, cool. So yeah, in this case, that's the question then. What does Starlight wear? What do we see her wearing today?
She usually wears very very boring clothing, actually.
Yeah.
Basically, it's just hoodies that covers almost everything. Usually, way too big for her.
Mm-hmm.
And something that also covers most of her arms and legs. She doesn't really like showing off skin at all.
Jeans, sneakers.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're having this conversation. We just I wanted to paint a picture of what you look like. And as you're having this conversation and you're talking about let's go and we'll post it up her room and it's gonna be glorious. You hear a tire screech, and then there's a loud crash. And as you gaze sideways to follow what's going on, you see a motorcade of black vehicles. Two of them having crashed down the street from where you are. A couple of them trying and failing to make their way around the ensuing car trouble. And people are scrambling around it, and someone is screaming.
What the hell? Well, Starlight is already way out.
Diamond looks sorrowfully at the uneaten, beautiful piece of hot dog artwork that she's holding in her arm, and sighs and says, "Oh well, there's always another hot dog." And then she follows Starlight, because obviously, sounds like somebody's in trouble.
Cool. So we, as you approach the scene, you see, and we see this painted in on a single page picture. There is basically a complete standstill of cars, as a couple of them have crashed into each other, blocking off the ones that we're following. And it is just a series of black, glossy, corporate-looking cars. Out the side of which has now appeared a bunch of people wearing suits who have pulled sidearms and are aiming them and shooting them at a huge shape of looking to be made of blackish cigarette smoke that seems to be assaulting the front of the motorcade, and is obviously the reason for the crash, as people on both sides of the streets are getting out of Dodge and running into buildings or down alleyways and just getting out of there. And in the background of that picture, we see the two of you having rounded a corner with a look on your faces as you notice the details of the scene. You don't know what this thing is. It's just like this wispy, like shadow-looking thing. It doesn't have any legs. It has like a vaguely humanoid upper body, very long, thin arms that end in claw-like fingers, a long, like drawn-out head, and its lower body like just kind of goes into a little wisp, like a genie.
Then here's the good question. Does it seem like it's going to kill everyone, or is it, trying to get away?
So as you ask yourself, like, I wonder what it's doing. It digs its claws into the roof of a car and just like peels it off like the lid of a can. And a couple of like the suit-wearing agent-looking people inside the cars, one of whom is like knocked out with a little bit of blood spilling from his forehead, resting his head against the dashboard after the crash. Like, some of them are like trying to get out of the cars, like pulling on safety belts and so on. One of them.
All right, that answered that question.
Yeah, it's obviously like it's attacking the vehicles.
All right. Well, I should probably make some burn then.
Yeah. What do you do?
Fire up is a really, really stupid thing to say, but that's basically what she's doing.
Can I bum a cigarette? Okay, time to fire up.
Yeah, I roll plus my stuffs.
So what? Yeah. So you start drawing in power.
Yeah.
Cool.
She starts lighting up like stars.
Awesome. So like, do you say something to each other as you witness the spectacle going on?
Yep, definitely.
The only thing Starlight says is, "I wonder what it's do." Oh, I guess that's answer to that, and then poof.
And Diamond takes off the baseball cap and throws it behind something because no reason for Halcyon High to get identified in any way with this. And she shrugs and looks at the now coalescing bundle of starlight energy standing next to her, and says, "You're not getting out of the hot dog."
Nice. So
and then she basically looks for to see if there is something very large and flat nearby.
There absolutely is. You can tell me what it is. But just as you do that, like you give a little quip. As you do so, I don't know how Starlight receives it, but I know that you powering up right now and drawing on the cosmic energies of the universe is kind of tripping you up. You get 3 hold.
Yeah.
But you also mark another
7
condition.
Oh, great. Well, she's starting to feel insecure. This is, she can already feel that the power she just drew in is not as stable as she thought it would be.
Yeah, it's probably tripped up by like the fact that you're like feeling down, right? Like you're angry, you're sad, and though this started out as like a decently good day, like you being thrown into this in the middle of everything, and like not all of your team is here, makes sense that you would feel a bit insecure.
Well, to be completely honest, it's fine Nightshade and Sparrow isn't here because she's kinda teenage angry at them.
Cool. So you fire up, you have 3 hold.
We should do a battle pose if we arrive then.
And you mark insecure.
Yeah, now I just need hopeless and then I'm out for the count.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you find something large and flat. What is that?
Yes. I have decided that basically there is a large empty tanker truck standing further along the road, and she basically peels off part of the tank to use as a huge fan.
Blow you away!
And as she comes running back in the other direction with this thing, from looking at Starlight, who's again saying, does this, if I have to shout by the power of sauerkraut when I use this thing, I'm gonna get mad.
What? We see
she's still talking about her hot dog.
She's not letting go of the hot dog. That's
No,
what's making her insecure. It's just like,
that
I'm not
was-
eating that thing.
So
that
what,
was one prize-winning piece of meat.
describe to us, AJ. Describe to us what Diamond sees when Starlight goes Super Saiyan.
Well, she probably seen it on the television before, but not up close. What she sees is basically Starlight almost blacking out. Her skin going very dark, and suddenly all the little galaxies are very, 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 very visible. Like watching a night sky. And strands of little wispy lights comes out of her, waving around like it's windy, without being windy.
So as you do this, and as you create a racket, peeling metal off the side of a tanker truck, the wispy smoke monster, the shadow thing, turns, noticing you, screeches in presumably anger, but it makes this horrible ear piercing sound, and then it digs its claws into one of the cars, the car just peeled the roof off. Still with people in it, strapped into the car seats, and just hurls it towards you. The car, just spins through the air. People in it strapped to their seats, whipping back and forth like ragdolls as the car torpedoes towards Starlight.
Oh shit! Can I get in between that?
Yeah. What do you want to do?
Well, my friend, car. Interception course? Fuck no. So basically what I'm going to do is I am going to catch that car in one hand and use the momentum of that thing swinging me around to actually, with the huge piece of flat metal, use that as a fan. I want to blow that thing away.
All right. So, let's try to have you roll first. We'll split up what you're doing. The first thing you're doing is you want to prevent Starlight from getting mushed by a car.
Exactly.
So,
that would be Defender.
Yeah, roll to save. Roll to stand in defense of her.
Yes, and as I recall, I just need to check something on my character sheet, because I think there's a reason.
There's something about you being a bull and doing that.
Oh, yes, exactly. Choose the role you come on. Yeah, exactly. Because my Defender... for my love relationship means that I'm actually using plus danger instead of plus savior when I defend them.
Cool.
Nifty.
Yes, I figured.
All the nifty.
Reasonable chance that works. And
Go!
Yeah,
Nice.
it works.
That was a hit. So, take your pick here. You managed to defend her. You can describe to me what that looks like. You already said you catch the thing in one hand. However, you tell me here, because you get to take your pick. You expose yourself to danger or escalate the situation?
I need to kind of know what escalate the situation means, because I'm sure there's a rules explanation for that, which I'm quite simply not familiar with.
So there is no the specific definition of escalating situation.
Okay.
It is either that you expose yourself to danger, or the situation escalates.
It
Basically
works.
means that you give me narrative
Right.
impetus
Okay, I get
to
it.
change
Yes.
the situation in one way or another.
Yes. Well, in that case, I escalate the situation. That being said, nope, no problem. Yep, I escalate the situation.
All right.
Never give Daniel power.
Rule number 1: always do weird stuff. It's fun.
Rule number 1 is I trust Daniel to make things fun. I'm not sure I would say it's safe, but certainly fun.
Exactly.
I suppose you're right. I just like the idea of not giving Daniel power, even if it doesn't benefit myself at all.
So basically, you're very anarchistic.
Yes.
Something I can get behind, but still,
So
having all this shit happen is fun.
we see
It is.
this happen. So the car comes hurling towards you. You step out. You realize at the last moment you're like, well, kind of gonna have to use both hands for this thing. So you temporarily have to drop the piece of metal. You reach out. You manage to grab the car as it comes sailing towards you, weighing God knows how much and with however many newtons behind it. You catch it, dig your heels into the asphalt as you're being pushed back by about a meter, but bringing the car to a halt without killing anyone inside it. However, as you do so, and as Starlight is like powering up, getting ready to jump into this fight, the creature is not just waiting for you to like get your shit back.
No, of course
it seems to be here for a reason. And having just thrown the car at you, it seems to be because it realizes what it was looking for wasn't in the car, because it immediately just jumps the next car in the motorcade. And behind them, the cars were starting to like back out, like start to get in reverse and get out of there. But in the background now, like a huge delivery truck has like come to a stop across the street, and now the situation is trapped.
Oops.
So,
There's
Starlight,
no escape.
what are you doing?
Doggone it, dang nabbit, dang varmint.
Dang garment?
Varmint.
Oh, alright. That suddenly makes more sense. Well,
Really?
did it grab something, did you say?
Yeah, presently it's the smoke thing like wisps forth, rematerializes in front of another car in the line, another one of these black cars, digs its claws into it and starts peeling it apart with like the window glass like shattering, the metal screeching as the whole chassis gets pulled apart. And still at the same time, like people around it, like these black-clad suit-wearing people, are like opening fire into it, and the shots just stray through it, like hitting sides of buildings, shooting through windows. Essentially,
One probably pinging off the chin or cheek of a certain person
Yeah.
who just grabbed their flipping friends.
one of them is like shooting, and like the bullet just passes straight through this a smoke thing and hits hits Diamond and just like plings off you. And of course, both of you realize at this point that these people doing their jobs, though they might, are actually endangering the people around them.
2 inches to the right on that one, dear one, and I would have had to get a new tank top or be indecent in public.
Then she's gonna move. Her move called move.
Yeah. What do you want to do?
I'm spending 1 burn to move to any place I choose within the scene, breaking through or slipping past any barriers or restraints in my way.
Yeah.
So I poof up behind it
All right. So you spend a burn.
to blast it with cosmic energies, because screw that.
So you basically like go up and just unleash point blank.
I go up and try to, contain it like I tried with the water.
Cool. So you spend a burn. We see you like disappear into a miniature black hole with like a flash of starlight. Appear
Yes.
just in the air behind it, and then you do what? Like you are behind it. Insofar this thing doesn't seem to have eyes, but hopefully you're in its blind spot.
Maybe?
So what do? You have like a split second now before the tides might turn.
I will contain it. Reverse shielding. I'm gonna keep it inside it.
Awesome. What move are we
Poof.
using here?
Shielding. You call up a fast protective shield to stop a danger. Spend 1 burn.
That's
But
awesome.
this time, I'm not defending whatever is inside it. I'm containing whatever inside it.
That's great. All right. Let's see.
Because then she'll probably have to roll.
Yeah, you're rolling to essentially like protect the people in the vehicle.
I'm unleashing me powers.
Yeah. So
And I'm using freak instead of savior.
roll plus freak and see if you can trap this thing in a cage of energy.
Hit!
All right. So this is a roll to defend someone. Okay, cool. So do you expose yourself to danger, or do we escalate the situation?
Again.
She exposes herself to danger.
Cool.
Because she is basically in the middle of all the shooting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess she would be.
I'll take it. So, we see you like describe to me how it looks when you cage this creature. this is not a permanent thing, but you can create a barrier around it that like prevents its current onslaught and like pull it away from the car so the people inside it can get out.
Exactly.
What does that look like?
Well, it looks sort of like the shield she's used before, where it's like a Milky Way centered on the person. This time, it looks more like a black hole, and it's a shield of stars.
Oh, very interesting.
Like, the little black hole is pulling whatever toward it.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, cool. So, as you do so, I think it was correctly commented that you put yourself in the line of fire here, and though some of these people like hold off and like stop shooting, the thing turns in its cage and like looks at you, and it does the same like hissing like a scream, but it sounds muted because there's like it's trapped in like this field of different feeling energy, and as it pushes towards this field, I imagine like the field is surrounding it, and there's like this thread of like white light from the field itself to your outstretched hands. Yeah. And as it pushes itself against the outside of the field, like essentially like doing like the pushing myself against the window thing, you see like this long tongue-like thing like emerge from its featureless head, and the like white light of your power being connected to it like starts taking on a different hue and starts like growing more purple and smoke-like, and you see it like snaking itself up against up through this beam towards you, almost like venom passing through a vein.
Yeah.
Ew.
As this happens, as this happens to Starlight, Diamond, you have had a moment to put down the car, get your stuff in order, and you see Starlight like trap this thing, and then it starts like seeping into her powers. What do you do?
Well, I'm trying to save her again.
You have a moment here where you're in a. I know you wanted to like take this thing and like get on this creature.
Yeah.
So
yes, I did, but now somebody else has gotten on it, so that's good.
You can still do that here. This is not a. You're the movement of the energy is not yet at a point where it's like I have to do something right now.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
I still have the great big piece of metal after all, lying right next to me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to do an alternative move on some of based on something I did to the great and evil creature known as Electromantis, and that is cause for smirks for those who did the one shot. Sparkbug, indeed. I am basically going to pick up this piece of metal and I'm going to fold another cube around it. I'm going to do a cubic prison for this thing, using the metal I have to hand.
Nice. So you want to physically trap it before
yes.
So Starlight can stop
exactly.
Cool. Roll to unleash your powers as you try to bend this thing forcibly into shape.
Yes, unleash my power. And I just want to be absolutely sure that I do. Yes. Okay. I am not thick and well. I'm not angry at the moment, so thick and thin skin does not actually apply. However, yes. Unleash my powers is a freak roll, right?
Yes.
It's a freaky roll.
Yay.
It's freaky and spooky.
It's a hit.
All right, you did it. So you managed to do it, but you either mark a condition, or I will tell you, or you leave it to me to tell you how the effect is either unstable or temporary.
Well, I mark a condition.
All right, cool. So as you do this, as you successfully do this, like what do you feel? Let me see if I'm the one who's supposed to tell you. Actually, give me a second. I need to find out if I tell you what condition you mark or if you pick it.
You feel hopeless as you realize you are nothing but the metal you just bend.
Your choice. Cool. So how do you feel as this thing happens? Right, it doesn't go as smoothly as it could.
No, it doesn't. And there are only really two I think are what's it called appropriate here. It's either angry or afraid. However, afraid not so much because at the moment we still seem to have this one under control. What I am annoyed by and getting angry by is the fact that this thing has now twice tried to hurt my friend. And quite frankly, I want to beat its smoky backside into so much stripy bacon that he will feel it somewhere into the next decade.
Cool.
So yeah, she folds this thing up while again but the point of course is that when she gets angry, there's this marked change to how she looks.
Can you tell us about that?
Yes, a significant part of her skin seems to grow transparent, and most of her most of her right side, both on her face and her arm, her hand, becomes see-through, transparent. The skin at least does, but underneath, instead of flesh and bone, you have a metal replacement skeleton. Her eye on her right side is clearly a cybernetic replacement of some kind. There's a little red dot of light which grows incredibly fine and pinpoint when she gets really angry. And yeah, that's so basically there's this almost half skeletal look to her, but it's metallic.
Awesome. So we see you like open up, and there's like this series of like a couple of panels where you get progressively more angry at it as it's doing this, and like maybe you shout something at it like, "Stop that! You smoke that! You smoky git!" or something like that. As you fold this giant piece of metal around it like a cocoon, just like wrap it in metal, and eventually it's at a point where you, Starlight, like you feel comfortable releasing your grip on it, and you can do so like before the evil purple ick like sneaks through your powers and into your person. And there's a moment where like the people, like the guards holding their guns, are like hesitant. They're standing there, they're looking at the cocoon, like the little
Did it work?
Steam bun of sheet metal. Yeah, and everyone's like, "What happened? Did it work?" And then it shakes, right? There's it's like catching a Pokemon. Like this, is everyone?
Yeah,
like,
I was just imagining it going.
It shakes,
and then there'll be a little jingle if you catch it.
And then it shakes again, and we see like these like little smoky wisps like ebb out of places where it doesn't seal completely tight, but it doesn't seem like the whole thing can just like squeeze out of it. And
Bad Pokemon, stay in your Pokeball.
Exactly. And there's this little moment where like, what's up? Then it stops moving. Then suddenly the whole thing glows, and we can see like, it starts like glowing like with a bright white flame. And we see like cast against it is this like reddish occult looking symbol, like some Key of Solomon looking stuff. And there's a loud voice of something exploding in an empty space, like thum, and then the entire thing like just stops moving, and there's this hiss of steam from within it.
Diamond takes out from her belt of tools. She takes out a permanent marker, and with a shaky hand, along the top of the cocoon that she's made, she writes, "Dear Mr. Devon, a present. Love, hugs, and kisses. XOXOXO. The Defenders."
Cool. So yeah.
Starlight starts rummaging around and finds duct tape and starts, covering the holes.
Well, yeah, she would have duct tape in the belt as well, so yeah.
It's just like, there we go. Duct tape can fix everything.
What you don't see, but what we see on like the side is, as you do this and as you like start wrapping this thing up, and definitely like some of these like people in suits like start just like catch your drift and start helping you. We see some of the steam like in the air above you congeal, and we see it like move almost with a sentience towards a nearby rooftop. where we see a silhouette, and as we get like a panel shift where we see a feminine hand with black nail polish, basically like with the hand on her at her side. She's obviously like looking down on you, and then as the mist like approaches, it like shots around her hand, and we see like a little black stick figure burn itself into her hand.
Ooh,
And then the figure
Cool.
turns and leaves.
creepy.
Meanwhile, down on the street level, a car door opens from one of the vehicles in the motorcade, and a guy steps out that both of you will have seen, though you may not be aware of who it is. He has enough of a public presence, so you're like, oh, that is definitely a person I have seen before. His name is Deacon Graves. He is the owner of Graves Technologies, which is like a multinational a multinational super firm.
You're sure he doesn't run a cemetery?
I was about to say there is no damn chance anyone with a name like that in a superhero series can be anything but a villain.
That's a good catch. It's a good catch. He steps out.
Is he our Mr. Luther?
That's actually a very good comparison.
God damn it.
It's a Caucasian man, short cut, dark brown hair, suit and tie, but he's wearing like his tie loose, like it's like non-formal, and not like his shirt isn't fully buttoned up. He steps out of the car. The agents like immediately like move to basically surround him and like be protective, though without like blocking his personal space.
Without cramping his style, yo.
Exactly. And he moves towards you. He's like, "Oh, thank you. Oh, for a moment I thought my goose was cooked." Very impressive, he says, and he gives you like a little accolade. He gives you a small applause. I believe, and he squints at you. He squints at you, Diamond, and then a Starlight. He's like looking back and forth between you. What might I call you? I believe I owe you my life.
Diamond is clearly hyperventilating from still trying to bring the transparency under control.
Yeah.
Enough that she's not showing, my bits are showing sort of situation.
You can still like be angry, but like have the topmost level of rage recede. So
recede, exactly. Yeah. So
visible.
Slowly grow back to a normal appearance, and she looks at him and says, "I'm called Diamond. She is called Starlight."
It warms my heart to see young people like yourself take up the just cause. And he extends his hand. He's like, "My name's Deacon Graves. It's my honor to meet you."
Well, if he's extending a hand, she shakes it.
Yeah, and he also extends it to Starlight.
Yeah.
Starlight is a little apprehensive. She is trying to
Do you know who this guy is?
She tries to stop herself from glowing like a star,
Yeah.
basically, and it's not going that well because it was already unstable.
So I know for a fact, because we've established this like before, that Starlight is well read and like keeps up with trends and so on. Do you figure you know who Deacon Graves is?
I have no idea who he is out of character.
Right, Deacon Graves is a I think the comparison was made before with like, is he Lex Luthor? I guess he kinda is. Graves Industries or Graves Technologies is among other things, like it has its hands in like quite a lot of pies, but it's most infamous for being weapons development and manufacture. So it sells backbones of private armies and so on.
Oh,
Well,
hello,
she
Tony Stark.
hesitantly takes the hand when she stops glowing. Hi.
Look, if it's not too blunt for me, might I ask you something?
Go ahead.
I'm supposed to attend a charity gala tonight, and he mentions, give me a name of like a local superhero
Dr. Sheila Supreme.
Sure. At the
She left.
at the Supreme Art Museum.
We now know that she liked art before she returned to her own dimension.
It's supposed to be a charity event to help those less fortunate caught in the crisis in Radia. I have reason to believe that whatever happened here is likely to make a repeat appearance, and I would feel much safer for myself and for the other attendants of the gala if a couple of capable hands were on deck.
She looks. The diamond looks a little uncertain and says, "I'm obviously I'm not at liberty to speak for anyone but myself, and I do take my instructions from others as well. But if it's at all possible, then certainly I'll." She looks like she's really struggling to get her anger back under control.
He does seem to take note of that you have a that you're dealing with something, and so I think he shifts his focus to Starlight, so as if to give you a pause from the conversation.
Yeah.
So he looks to you, Starlight, and he's like, "What do you say, young lady? Will you help a helpless old fool for a night?"
I can't see why not.
It is my honor and my pleasure. You can contact me whenever before the gala. My people will sort everything out you should need, and I will feel much safer for myself and the other guests, knowing that there are watchful eyes on site.
Is it okay if I take my team along?
He cocks his head. He's like, "You have a team?
The defenders?"
There is a moment where he's like, "Oh, okay," but he doesn't know. But he's polite and pretends to know you.
Yes.
He's like, I see. The defenders. Well, I'll certainly remember that name.
I don't know if it was a good or a bad thing.
The man is called Graves. I think you can say for an absolute fact that it's going to be a bad thing that he remembers our name, but that's all out of character.
Deacon was the first name I found that came closest to digging.
Digging graves.
What's his brother called them taken names?
He has a pair of cousins called Kicking Ass and Chewing Bubblegum.
Yeah.
Yay! All the bubblegum.
Yeah, but I think he says his goodbyes. Seems very appreciative that you will be helping him tonight at the gala, and he excuses himself. He walks back to the vehicles as things get slowly put in order, like cars get pulled out of the way, and so on. The motorcade starts back up, and he has places to be. So with a last smile, he steps back into his car, gives you a short wave, turns to his driver. He obviously says drive. You can't hear him through the soundproof glass.
No.
And then they're off. Meanwhile, however...
Off to see the wizard, the great old Wizard of Oz.
Exactly. Meanwhile, however, the two of you are running a bit late. You need to make a dash for it if you're to make it on time.
Well, she has always been a bright girl, but she's been quite of a slacker. So it doesn't really bother her that much. Instead, she just looks at Diamond with "You think that was a good idea?"
Sorry. What?
You think it was a good idea to even mention the defenders?
I think that's fine, actually. Come on, we'd better get back. Otherwise, you're just gonna end up in detention, and they're gonna dock me pay. So let's get back. And you're still not getting out of the hot dog.
Oh no, I figured that much.
Yeah, this last frame before like page ends is the two of you walking down the sidewalk, like, and the exchange. You're not getting out of the hot dog. I figured, like happening, and then we'll take a break here, and when we come back from the break, we'll see what happens next. So be cool, everyone.